Okay, let's go over how to vote in elections. We're going to call this little class here Government 101, how to vote correctly. I'm not sure a lot of people know when they vote and how their vote is counted and why they're voting. We're just gonna go through first a few slides and we're gonna go and I'll read them and then we'll see how it goes. And we're gonna focus on the federal government. Okay, as I said, the focus is on the national government of the United States, of how the election goes. So let's start going through those slides. I mean, what is the national government? As the slide shows, I mean, it's the national government is pretty much the sovereign ruling entity of the country. It's the body that presides over the entire United States. The legislations or the rules that they pass applies to everyone in every state of the United States. Parts of the branches or parts of branches of the national government. Now, there's three of them. I mean, you pretty much know about the legislative branch, which is the Congress, and there's two parts of the Congress, which is the Senate and the House. And the Senate have 100 members, two from each state, and the House has about 435. And when you vote, that's who you vote for. Now, you don't vote for everybody. Every state, they're divided into district, and everybody vote whoever's in their or to represent their district, whoever's in their district, whoever want to be elected to represent different parts of the country. And you have the executive branch, which is the president, and you have the judicial branch, which is the court. Every part of these have the different function. And my thing with the judicial branch is they get appointed by the executive branch. They don't, like the federal courts, they don't get elected. I mean, the majority of them don't get elected like other parts of the government do. Their courts get appointed by the government, which is why sometimes the courts are kind of, I think they're basically politicized. Now let's focus on the legislative branch, which is the House and the Senate. Their powers are granted under the Article 1 of the Constitution. They make all laws, they declare wars, and they regulate interstate commerce. They control taxing, they can pass taxes, and then they're responsible for the spending of the money of the country, and quite a few more stuff. Article 2, which is where the executive branch get their powers from. They do a lot of stuff, which not including diplomacy with other countries, and they negotiate a side treaty, which needs to be ratified by the Congress, and they appoint, like I said before, federal judges. In my personal view, I think the judges should be elected like everybody else, because, like I said, whoever's in power going to appoint judges that have a point of view closely to what their point of view is. Since we're on the judicial branch, let's focus on Article 3, which is where they get their mandate from, they get the powers from. It basically tells you what the law says. Basically, that is why it's important. When the laws are written, I don't know why, sometimes you can't even understand most of those laws when they're written. Not even the congressman or the Senate or the House who passes them understand what they are. This is where they get challenged in the court, and whatever the court says they admit, then that's what everybody has to go by. And the courts basically mediate between the other branches of government and everybody else. They determine which laws are constitutional, or I say which laws are not. They basically just tell you what the laws are. Now, those previous laws that we go through, why are they important? Very important because when we vote, you need to understand the structure of the government, how the government structured, how they form. Otherwise, you won't. When you vote, it's just vote without understanding what that vote means or how effective that vote is going to be. Now, who elects or chooses the people serving in those different branches that we mentioned earlier? Let's take the Congress for example. Like I said, that's the House that have the two parts to it, the Congress and the Senate. The House gets elected, like I said, by the people of the state, different district, which are represented. Basically, there's 435 members of the Congress. They're basically the closest part to the people because they were basically they're different than the Senate because the Senate pretty much represent everybody within pretty much represent the states, and the representatives represent the different district within those states. And in the executive branch, apparently get elected by everyone, basically by the state, everyone within the state as well. And the judicials, they get appointed by the president. Now let's move to understanding what vote is what voting means actually. It's basically choosing people to make decision on your behalf, which is why it's important to make sure that who you choose, who you vote for, is somebody you would actually trust to make decisions, which is why voting is really important. It's the only way you can affect change, or if somebody's not doing something right, that's the only way you can get rid of somebody, first and foremost. And then it's our responsibility. And another one thing is it keeps human arrogance in check. That's how you tell them, take a hike. It's not hard to make a decision on how to vote, basically. I mean, sometimes you may get two candidates that you don't like, okay? The way you do it is you decide who agrees with you more than the others. Not choosing not to vote at all is basically not really an option, okay? For example, if somebody agrees with two issues or somebody would agree with one issue, then now you just pick whichever agrees with you more. After you vote, basically you keep the pressure on. Basically, after voting this is where the real work, the real pressure should be. That's where the challenges begin. You have to make sure you call your congressmen or your senators, making sure they're doing what they said they would do during the process. Otherwise, everybody's gonna forget about anything and they do whatever they want. Okay? So in the next course, we're gonna discuss something really, really, really important and really, really different. So be sure to subscribe and keep watching.